Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare two laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Welcome to the XSLR Championship, and for this week, for round 8, the Pro 4 trucks head from Norway last week at the notorious Hell Circuit. And we're making the transatlantic trip to Daytona in the US of A for this round, home to the famous Tri-Oval and the road course, which recently saw the absolutely epic and iconic Daytona 24-hour. However, this week we're using the Rallycross track, and although the first race at this famous circuit was a sports car race, today we see the Pro 4 trucks take to the track at a rather underappreciated part of the circuit. I'm Tim Cox, and we have John Grabowski with us on production, but right now, as always, I'm joined by the absolutely marvellous Adam Thompson. Adam, to quote the film Dodgeball, just remember there are 5 Ds of Dodgeball: dodge, duck, dive, dip, and dodge, which based on the first corner action of the previous 3 rounds should be the 5 Ds of Daytona if our drivers want to be successful tonight.
Well, and the problem with that is after the first corner you've got 7 more that you got to get through here. So no, I'm extremely excited tonight for the final race of the dirt road portion of Cross Series League Racing's calendar. So you know, it's been entertaining these past three races in this dirt road series. Obviously, Cameron Peterson has done a great job with, you know, pulling a gap in the points championship. But you know, anything's up for grabs. It's a new race, so anything could happen. So it's going to be super interesting to see you know, what happens here. And as you mentioned, there's going to be a whole lot of dodging, probably some diving. I don't know if you can really duck in these cars, but you might be able to, and definitely some dipping. going into turn 1 here, especially for our feature race with all 15 drivers out on track.
It is indeed. It's been an absolutely entertaining portion of this championship, and I've got to say, I really am looking forward to the next 4 weeks ahead. The iconic Lotus 79. Not showing any bias here whatsoever. Absolutely love that car. It is great fun. If you don't own it at home, I implore you to go out and buy it. Take it around Brands Hatch, and just the mechanical grip on that thing is amazing, but rather different beast with, you know, a car with lots of suspension travel this week and not much grip on the tarmac, as you just see Brandon Horan making his way out. The first section, that takes in the International Horseshoe, and then of course we've got this jump which heads into this chicane and then this swooping right-hand corner. It's definitely quite challenging to say the least, and I think that's going to be a real hotbed for action tonight, Adam, that section of the circuit.
It is, going through after the jump, right through those, you know, the corners are coming at you so quick. This track is way quicker than the corners were in hell. And, you know, the transition, there's much more dirt and asphalt transitions on this track than there were last weekend. So everything's just coming at you so much faster. The jump that you just mentioned, you're going straight into I wouldn't call it a tight left, but it's tight enough to where you've got to react pretty quickly. And if you're side by side going through that whole section, you're gonna continue to stay side by side or not. And I would assume that not is probably going to be the answer for most of this. It's just going to be a super tough track to get used to for guys that haven't run it.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. We'll see how they get on because we've got qualifying currently underway. Drivers have 2 laps to set their fastest time, and right now Josh Clogg leading the way with a 45.3, some nearly 7 tenths quicker than Jake Ham, currently occupying that second place. However, I was just about to say, it'd be interesting to see what Cameron Peterson manages to put in, and there you go, a 44-second dead, 1.3 seconds nearly quicker than Josh Clogg, who's no slouch himself. And we were saying, Adam, during practice, it was interesting, you know, Cameron Peterson was only ran about 2-3 tenths quicker than everyone else, and it felt like he might be sandbagging a little, and I think that just shows it, although Clogg in response just goes quicker again and equalises the gap out to only 6 tenths.
Yeah, you know, he must have a pretty quick pit crew. Got in there and took all those sandbags out of his passenger side seat, because he is running about 2 seconds quicker than his fastest lap in practice, and he ran about 15 laps in the practice session before the quali. So, yep, here we go again.
I think, yeah, as he was saying, you know, in the lead up to this section of the championship, that he was, you know, this is his strongest section, and I think it's going to be definitely interesting to see how he gets on in the next half of the championship. A very, very different offering, as we just see Benavides there, just getting the jump very, very wrong, and that is one of the dangers that that section faces, where if you just get your entry slightly wrong, then you end up on the side of the jump and you lose an absolute whole heap of time.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with where that jump is located, you're coming out of a corner, hitting the jump, and then you're trying to set yourself up for the entry of the corner immediately after that. So you've got to be bang on through all 3 of those corners to be able to get it right. And here we come with Robert coming over the jump. So you're taking a left there, and the front end gets a little bit. Oh, well, nope. I think he finishes qualifying. But you can see there how you've just got all 3 of these these sections coming so close together. You've got to get it perfect, or you're going to lose. I mean, you're going to lose the time for your whole lap.
Just running you through the format for tonight. So we've got 2 heat races, 8 laps each. Of course, drivers will have to take 1 joker lap before we head out into our feature final. That's 15 laps long. Again, 1 joker lap required. Now, I mentioned to a few of our sponsors for this series. First off, we've got Dangerous. Dangerous are a top 3D virtualization firm specializing in high-quality 3D product, CAD, package rendering services, and photorealistic product visuals. They specialize in automotive subjects and have extensive industrial and consumer product design experience. Let them help you visualize, promote, and communicate your design. find out more about them by heading to their website, dangerous.net. We'll be hearing from more of our sponsors throughout the race as it goes on through. We go through the proceedings tonight, and qualifying just coming to an end, and we'll be able to bring you up your grid for the first heat of the evening. Relatively, not exactly a hot day here in Daytona, just coming up to around about 5 p.m. here, some 24 degrees Celsius, and this is your grid for Heat 1. Peterson, he is on pole with Brendan Huron alongside him, Tyler Coates and Mikolajczyk on the second row, Jaden Darling with Bobby Ross, and Scott Rankin and David Barnes rounding out your grid here for Heat 1. And it's going to be interesting to see, wow, just who could come out on top there. Lining 3x3x2, and here come the lights. Let's get ready to go racing in Heat 1 from Daytona. And who's going to get the whole shot into turn 1? Or will someone get cheeky and take their open lap on the open lap? Now everyone carries on. They're just running a bit deep on the brakes there. The 81 and they're sent spinning. So you see Bobby Ross making his way through the field there. Carving his way through the traffic there like the perennial hot knife through butter, as we see Cameron Peterson getting really well over the jump and able to pull away from second place Mikolajczyk. So we're right on board with Scott Rankin right now, and you can see the dust that's being kicked up absolutely everywhere here, Adam. It's going to be a real challenge for the drivers to try and make their way through that and see through it.
Yeah, it is. Oh no.
That's David Barnes onto his roof, our first casualty of the evening.
It looks like he just got a little too tight there into the hairpin and just caught that wall, and nobody behind him had anywhere they could go. So it's unfortunate for David, but no, you were mentioning the dirt. So looking at the humidity, I wasn't able to, when you had the track state pulled up, I wasn't able to look at it, but the humidity is probably just super low. And you've just got so much dirt coming up, which is probably what caused this. So yeah, you can see how much dirt is flying. No, they're in.
This is what happened to Barnes there. Oh, just caught that tyre wall on the inside and created a bit of a traffic jam there for everyone pushing their way through, trying to keep progress going, and that was looking like the end of things for Barnes. So we see Cameron Peterson, who's, well, he's out in the front, he's clear. Around about 2.8 assists, extending even further as gets the jump a little bit wonky there, but uses it a really interesting style to rotate the car in to what looked like it was a premeditated, planned maneuver there.
Yeah, no, he's doing. he knows what he's doing. There's no way I can commentate, because every time I think he's doing something wrong, he'll gap everybody by about another second. It's crazy.
It is indeed, as he comes round heading out onto lap 3. We see Bobby Ross right now in that 33 truck. He's got Jaden Darling right behind him, and a bit of a little train emerging between himself and Darling. Obviously, Tyler Coates not too far up ahead, around about 1.5 seconds so far. Mikolajczyk, the only driver to take their Joker lap so far. Everyone else has elected not to, and we're right on board right now with Jaden Darling as we head towards the jump, and he's going to get that maybe a bit wrong, but he's just about saves that one.
Yeah, he's, unfortunate first lap incident with Jaden, but he seems to be making some moves here up into 6th place. And again, we only have 15 drivers tonight, so everybody is going to, the Heat 3 is going to be skipped, and everybody's going to be making it into the feature. So basically these heat races at this point are for your feature race starting position.
It's so crucial to get yourself as high up the grid for that feature race as possible. As we see Tyler Coates, they're currently in 4th place, down 1 place from where he started. The biggest person to make up places so far is just ahead of him, Scott Rankin. From down under at 4 places so far, Brendan Huron. He's the biggest loser in terms of places right now. He's down 5 in 7th. As we see Rankin just coming through into this section where people really seem to be struggling with that. Lots of different lines being taken. A few people have hit the tyre wall on the inside, and I think when we've got the bigger grid in the feature race later, that's going to be potentially a bit tricky and a bit spicy on the opening laps.
Yeah, and you've got to think that's a transition from dirt to asphalt right there. So half of that corner, well, that whole corner is basically asphalt, but the transition to the dirt is right after it, and these trucks just react so differently on the dirt than they do on the asphalt. They want to understeer really bad when you're trying to drive it on a hard surface like the asphalt. And on the dirt, they like to be a little more free. So I think these guys are trying to figure out how to get the truck set and get it turned into the corner, but not to be too free when they hit that dirt patch right there, which is a lot easier said than done.
It is indeed, and tell you what, Tyler Coates is really starting to close in on the back of Scott Rankin right now. That gap's only down to about 8 tenths. There's 2 to go here. Brent Huron and David Barnes, other drivers to take their Joker laps, as we just see there. Tyler Coates heading to the inside to take his Joker lap, getting himself in the process ahead of Scott Rankin. It's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. Imagine next time around that Rankin will be taking his Joker lap. You just see in the background there, Bobby Ross getting very, very loose as coming out onto the dirt section here and almost clips the sidewall there. He's really pushing it.
Yeah, he is. He's trying to catch Scott, and it looks like he's starting to make some time up, but man, you know, with how hard he's driving the truck final lap, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, and he's got to be super careful not to make a bigger mistake to push him even further back.
So you saw our leader there, Cameron Peterson, 16 seconds clear of the field, and this midfield battle is getting really intense right now. Tyler Coates only 1 second ahead of Scott Rankin, who then has got Bobby Ross. You can see him really nipping at his heels, and Ross tries to make a bit of a lunge for the inside. Can he get the move done on the sprint towards the line? This is going to be close. Ross, I think, is just about ahead.
Is he going to overshoot that corner, though? There's Cameron Peterson across the line in first place, good 18 seconds ahead. Oh, looks like Scott got him back on the crossover there.
He's just about going to hold on to this one, or is he literally the final corner left to go? Oh, what a big
Bobby just spins it in there. That's one way to make a pass, Bobby. I'm glad we're not in the F1 cars. You would have lost most of your body work there, but congrats on Bobby for making that pass and coming home fourth.
I was interested. Scott Rankin, he tried to shut the door on him, but Ross was coming through like a freight train, and he was having absolutely none of it, and got enough of this truck alongside to get the move done there. And let's just take you through your grid for the next race. Josh Clogg, he's on pole with Jimmy Howard alongside Jake Ham and Robert Schenkel on the second row, Mike Sorum, Scott Benavides, and then James Keir rounding out your grid. Now, I mentioned too, another one of our sponsors before we go off for Heat 2, Nexus Fab. Nexus Fabrication specialises in metal fabrication and manufacturing for commercial, residential and custom projects, as well as signage, furniture and metal repair work. Visit them at nexusfab.com. We'll, well, I think this is going to be a really, really interesting one. Definitely a more closer race, I feel, within Heat 2.
Yeah, no, this is definitely going to be a lot closer. We got Josh Clogg there again in leading Heat 2, so I would assume Josh may be able to pull away, but I know Clogg's hole shots are amazing. Jake Ham was supposed to have a disqualification or a quali ban, so we'll see if he actually uses that or if something else. He's trying to find his way to the back if he can. He is all good here. But yeah, Josh is pulling away here, 3 wide.
We saw Jimmy Howard really getting bullied in these opening laps, pushed from pillar to post, and he's across the side of the jump. He's just about going to hold on to this one, right on board with him right now, and you can see cars everywhere behind him. Got the 82 and the 88 there of Benavides, and James Kerr, he's had an absolutely blinding step up 2 places. He's got himself up into 5th, but what can Jimmy Howard do right now? He's got Schenkel not too far in front of him. I'll tell you what, this pack is really, really close right now, and I think maybe some interesting tactics might happen. See who's going to take the Joker lap. So we're right on board with Benavides. He makes the decision to go early. Oh. That Joker, has he overshot it there though? That's the big question.
He almost did. Like I like I mentioned with these trucks, man, there is no grip. You know, people say there's no grip in the grass. Well, there's actually grip in the grass with these. There's no grip in the asphalt on these, and they just want it. They're just so, I don't know what the issue is with them. I think with that front wheel drive system they have, yes, they're all-wheel drive, they just want to push all over the place.
So Jimmy,
what a move. Oh,
wow.
My goodness.
Oh, it looks so good. It looked like it was coming off, but it's all fallen apart. And once again, that 88 truck sent flipping over and over. And I tell you what, Jimmy Howard, he was getting bullied on that first lap, found himself right at the back of the field, but now he's back up into 5th. And I tell you what, Jake Ham is not far on the road, and we've got Scott Benavides, who's already taken his Joker lap, which is definitely the quicker way round the track. As we see Howard getting all sorts of out of shape across the jump there.
Yeah, no, I believe, so we've got Mike Sorum and Scott Benavides who have taken their Jokers now, so if Jimmy can find a way to do this,
well, I'll tell you what, that's going to get the move to, I'll tell you what, all over the place. That A5 truck there, Jake Ham, really struggled across the jump, and I'll tell you what,
yeah, if I were Jimmy, I'd be taking this this Joker lap now. Instead of keep trying to race him, you're going to do things like that. You can get by him here because that Joker lap does make you a lot of time, but nope, Jimmy's not listening to me. Battling Mike now.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike Sorum said he saw the incident happening. He saw Jimmy Howe hold up, slow up, and he said, thank you very much. I'll have a bit of that gap there that was left open to Scott Benavides in a whole heap of trouble right now. He's drifted right out onto the grass, and that's Jake Ham. He's got himself up into 3rd, but here comes Sorum making the lunge. And he's going to get the move done. Has he run it too deep? Those Benavides tries to get the undercut, but no. Mike Sorum has got himself up into 4th place in that 69 truck.
Yep, Mike is one of the sleepers, I would like to say, in the trucks in this league. He knows how to drive these trucks. He hasn't been great here recently, but he's starting to make some moves now. I think he's getting his mojo back.
Definitely, and I tell you what, Jake Ham, it's his turn to feel the pressure of Mike Sorum, who's on an absolute flyer in the second half of this heat race. 4 laps complete, 4 to go here in heat 2. And just look at the way that Mike Sorum is absolutely all over the back of Jake Ham right now. It's all over him like a rash, and Jake Ham just can't do anything to seem to try and shake him. Electing to take the most shallow line there, but it seems to be working out better for our drivers as Benavides up on 2 wheels into the wall, and it was a promising start. It's all falling apart for him right now.
So Jake has yet to take his Joker lap, and I would think he would, Mike has already taken it, which Jake, unless he's got an overlay, does not know. So, well, there goes Jimmy. Like we mentioned, if Jimmy would have done that 2 laps earlier, he would have had these guys cleared, but he's back in the fight. So Jake Ham is the only guy here right now of this battle that hasn't taken his Joker. So if Jake can take that, it should give him a little bit of breathing room, but what you don't want is to get passed by one of these guys when you've got clear air out in front.
Definitely, things are hotting up on track as we see Jake Ham. He's just about holding off Mike Sorum for now. 7 attempts covering these 2. Only 3 drivers have taken their Jokers so far. As you mentioned, Adam, Sorum, Howard, and Benavides, the only drivers to take them so far. Josh Clogg, he's out in the lead, nearly 8 seconds clear of the field. Schenkler, he's got 4 seconds clear of Jake Ham in 3rd place with that epic battle that's going on right now. As we see James Keir there taking his Joker lap in that 88 truck. Getting the move done. Mike Sorum, he's just dropped a little bit off the back of Jake Ham. He's taken that Joker lap now, and these 3 trucks starting to separate out a little bit for the first time.
Yeah, you've got to wonder if some of these moves that happened early in the race, if there may be some damage. Oh, my goodness.
Howard trying to take the path of, the shortest possible path, and in doing so, they just hit the inside wall, and the front right bumper, front right fender, that is long gone, and almost like matching up in alignment with James Keir right behind him. They're both missing that front right corner.
I was going to say, they may have done it on the same corner, but no, like I mentioned, if they hadn't gotten damage, it looks like for sure Jimmy has damage at this point. He hit that wall pretty hard. But no, these guys have been bumping and banging and all of that stuff. So you wonder if that started to take a toll on the truck a little bit, because you can start to lose a little bit as Josh Claude crosses the line in first place. Congratulations. Robert Schwenkler looks like he's not going to have any competition for second.
No, he pulled away earlier and he's maintained that gap and actually extended it, to be fair, over Jake Ham. That gap out to 6 seconds. He's comfortable second. Ham looks like he's going to take that last place on the podium in Heat 2. You can see Mike Storm just coming through there, but it's this battle for 5th place and Howard's just going to hold on to it. They came out the International Horseshoe and, wow, I think he'll be glad to head into the next round and reset a little bit. Howard really got bullied on that opening lap.
Yes, he did, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that Jake Ham, according to the points situation, anyways, we'll talk about that here in a second. Our starting grid is Cameron Peterson starting in first with Josh lined up beside him. Beside him is Paul Mikolajczyk. 4th is Jake Ham. 5th is Tyler Coates. 6th, Mike Sorum, followed by Bobby Ross, then Jimmy Howitt, Scott Rankin, James Keir, Jaden Darling, Robert Schwenkler in 12th, Brennan Horn, my apologies, in 13th, Scott Benavides in 14th, finally David Barnes is in 15th.
Worth mention, well, we've got maybe just enough time for another of our sponsors. It's the Chet Durek Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation is a non-profit volunteer-fueled organisation dedicated to finding cures for Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, and improving the quality of life of children and adults affected by the disease. With that, we can head out into the final, our feature race, 15 laps. Who's going to come out on top into turn 1? And Peterson's going to get the whole shot. And I tell you what, there's a big, Sorensen flipping and flying through the air. He's well off track, and that's, well, right down to the back and well off the back of the pack as well as everyone comes across the jump here. Peterson not getting away from Clog early on like he might have hoped. See Jimmy Howard hustling that Pro 4 truck in the midfield there. Locked in a fight there with Tyler Coates right alongside in that 407 truck. Howard just has to settle in behind him, but a bump from behind. Howard sent flying the 81 up in the air, and Jada Darling and Howard. Oh, wow, it's all going wrong after a great start for Howard. You've got to feel for him.
Yikes, I don't know kind of what went on there, but it looks like Keir made a... Whoa!
Whoa, you're right sideways in there.
What is going on?
Tyler Coates, he's sliding along on the side of his truck and I think might be just about able to save that one, but wow, it's all happening here in the final. As we see, it's all happening. Well, hey, I'm just making his way through, but this is what happened to Tyler Coates. Oh, he slowed right up, and then Keir, nowhere to go. And that's why he arrived in sideways.
Everyone's stopping there in turn 1 for some reason. I don't know what was going on there. It looked like Tyler was checking because somebody else was checking.
Let's take a little look. So this is Jake Ham. Has he picked up a slowdown or something?
So he's picked up a slowdown and decided to stop.
And that's what causes the big concertina effect. Well, in an accident reminiscent to what we, well, many years ago, I think it was 1998 in a Formula 1 race at Spa-Francorchamps when David Coulthard took out pretty much the whole field. Similar style situation here, but this car's a lot more robust than a Formula 1 car. So we see Rankin in the midfield there, James Keir. He's going to send it up the inside and gets his elbows out. And Scott Rankin sent flying the 235 there as well. And Robert Schwenkler up on his roof. He's not coming back from that one. Neither's Rankin.
Wow. Well, you mentioned it here at the top of the broadcast that was going to be the corner, Tim, and it was looking like you're not far off there. It just doesn't look like it. Looks like people are trying to take two different lines into a corner that really turns into one line through the apex, and they're just all coming together.
They are indeed. We see the 33 there, Bobby Ross. He's got Jaden Darling just in front of him in an 81 truck. As they come round now into that the corner that has been the hotbed for all the action. Darling onto the brace Kia, getting up close and personal with the rear end of Bobby Ross right now. You see in the background they're squabbling between Barnes and Coates as they come round. Jimmy Howard, he's getting involved as well as these two drag it out down to the international horseshoe, and David Barnes getting well out wide there onto the grass. He locks up on entry. Howard just about manages to keep hold of his truck, but Barnes keeping it ahead for now, just drifting the rear end out and covering off Howard.
Yeah, this is a battle here. Looking at the Joker laps. Some of these guys have not taken it. Howard hasn't taken it, and Barnes hasn't either. Scott Benavides just came out of his. So just depending on how these guys want to swing this, if you want to get out of, battling now, looks like Barnes just let him by there.
See Barnes, the man out of Ohio, trying to make progress right now, but unable to do so. I'll tell you what, Jimmy Howard's making that truck as wide as possible, as we see just from Bobby Ross versus Jaden Darling right now, and well, he might be Darling by surname, but he's definitely not Darling by nature as he tries to fend off Ross. He's coming in, he almost stands on top of him there.
Oof, that could have been pretty bad for Bobby. That is not where you want to be, landing on top of another vehicle. Going over the jumps, you will get flipped pretty easily, but they haven't, and they're moving on to, I'm going to start calling this the corner of death, because this is where everybody seems to be dying.
It is indeed. I'll tell you what, Darling nearly just catching the wall there on the exit. It's called a few people out so far in the previous two heats. Manages to keep around that one, but I'll tell you what, so far to take the Joker laps is Jake Ham, Mike Sorum, as we see Cameron Peterson just coming through last night. So laps some traffic there. David Barnes, he's taking the Joker lap. Scott Benavides, Scott Rankin, and Brendan Huron. They have all taken their Joker laps so far. Our top three haven't. They're quite spaced out right now. Cameron Peterson, he's got around about 4 seconds over Josh Clark, who's then got around about 16 seconds over Mikolajczyk. He's had a relatively quiet race so far in that third and last podium position, as we see Tyler Coates there trying to make progress. Here's Mikolajczyk, and I tell you what, I don't think there's anyone's truck who isn't missing a body panel somewhere.
Yeah, no, it seems to be kind of how these races have gone, just in general. Other than Cameron Peterson, who never sees another truck on track, but most of these, wow.
It nearly loses it there. I think he just caught a bit too much of the curb on the inside, up on two wheels, manages to save it, but that's just lost him a little bit of time there. Let's see Bobby Ross, he's right back into the back of Jaden Darling, and contact there. They're all tripping over one another. We've got about 5 trucks right on top of one another now.
Oh, this is not going to end well for somebody if they stay this close together with 7 to go. Gonna have to gap a little bit. Look at like James is going for a move around the outside. Jaden gets wide.
Bobby Ross into the wall there. They're all out onto the grass. They're so far off the track, they need a passport. They're so far off it there. As we see Mike Sorum trying to take advantage here right now. Darling, he's out wide. James Keir just having to yield that place. I tell you what, Darling, he's doing okay right now. Just about Tyler Coates ahead of him. Bobby Ross, the only driver in amongst this group that yet to take their Joker lap. He's saving it to the end. See, Darling, he's got Sorum right behind him now in that 69 truck.
If I were Bobby, I'd be taking it this lap. Getting close, taking it this lap, getting out of the way of everybody else. Should be able to pass at least Jaden, maybe James. Well, it looks like he'd be able to get past James Keir here if he takes it. Just one less car you got to deal with, because these guys are going to be squabbling, it looks like, for the rest of the race. There he goes.
Wow. Boy, he's taking the tightest possible line and just coming right out in front. I'd say, well, that was a cracking move there by Bobby Ross. He's lolling his truck out in front of Jaden Darling, and tell you what, he's covering off any possible advances as Darling up on 2 wheels. So's Ross. Wow, these guys are really pushing it right now.
Here we go into the. This is going to be the corner here. Is Jaden going to look to make a move? He is. Bobby gets wide.
Wow, he's going to get the move done, surely, here. Darling, he's managed to get it past Ross, but Ross is going to, you bet your bottom dollar, he's going to be fighting back into the international horseshoe. It might even go side by side through it, but Ross just elects to back up, but no, he's going to get the undercut. Jalen Darling just runs it in too deep, and I think, oh, was that saw him up on his roof?
Well, he's back now. Couldn't quite see what happened back there, but
let's take a little look at the replay. This is what happened to Mike Sora. Does he lose it all by himself? James Keir just behind, who sends it up the inside. A bit of contact.
Man, James is not making... I know he's your fellow Brit, but he is not making any friends tonight. Sending it up in there.
He's definitely got his L base fully out, sharpened and ready to muscle his way through. You know, they talk about the V8s in these trucks being like, you know, from a muscle car, but to tell you what, he's flexing his his truck muscle all about the track right now. As you see Tyler Coates and just by gaining away, Cameron Peterson just coming through past Darling there to lap him. He's lapped all the way up to and including 7th place right now. A flawless performance from the Canadian. Once more, that gap out to 5 seconds over Josh Clogg in 2nd place in the 13 truck. Mikolajczyk, he's about 20 seconds down on Clogg. I'll tell you what, Jake Ham's starting to close up onto him a little bit. You can see him just in the background there in that 85 truck.
I was about to mention that gap has kind of stayed the same, about that 2-second-ish interval, but it looks like Jake is dropping that gap now, even down to about a second here. So I don't know what's going on here, but Jake just decided to turn the afterburners on here.
He has indeed, and so they head down to, well, the aptly renamed Corner of Death. And I tell you what, Ham's looking a lot more comfortable through there compared to Mikolajczyk.
Yeah, no, he is. This is going to be interesting here, and you wonder how the track state is starting to affect some of the drivers. The way that this track is at the beginning of the race, it's a lot looser. There's a lot more, not as much grip, I would say, because a lot of the top cover of that loose dirt. But as this track starts to wear out, the track gets tighter and it starts to drive more like the asphalt. My goodness, what is going on over here?
Oh, Benavides up onto his roof. He's not getting that truck back whatsoever. That's going to have to be a tow back to the pits to save that one. But I'll tell you what, we're on to our final lap. I don't know where it's quite gone. 15 laps, well, 14 completed, 1 to go. Cameron Peterson, he just needs to bring that 48 truck home, and he is going to take the victory here in Daytona, the final race of the dirt road section of the XSLR Championship.
This battle isn't done yet between Jake and Paul, though, here for 3rd and 4th. This is going to be pretty close as Jake crosses the line in his normal fashion of taking the Joker on the last lap.
I'll tell you what, Mikolajczyk, he hasn't taken his Joker lap yet, so this could be his saving grace potentially. To see Cameron Peterson just comes across the line there to take the victory. But what is going to happen between these two?
He better do it now, or he's not finishing the race. I hope Paul. Hey, Paul, take the Joker, buddy. This is the last lap to do it.
See, there you go. He's maintained that inside. All or nothing for Jake Ham now. He needs to get a little bit lucky, but I think Mikolajczyk's just got enough in the tank, and there you go. He's going to take that last place on the podium in that 38 truck. I think if we got everyone across the line there, I'll tell you what, that was, wow. I know it always tends to, you know, it will build to a crescendo of action and excitement in this championship, you know, as the heats go on, and no different here for the finale of this section of the championship at Daytona.
It's been 15 laps already?
Where's that gone?
I don't know. Holy cow. No, this has been, I mean, Cross Series League racing. It's never fails to disappoint, for sure. But no, this was another great race, and way too much going on. Big shout out to Jonathan for trying to keep up with everything. I don't want his job. But anyways, I'll go ahead and go through the results because I'm the one talking here. First place, we got Cameron Peterson. Congratulations, Cam, on your 7th win of Cross Series League racing. Josh Clogg in 2nd place. Paul Mikolajczyk takes 3rd. Congrats to Paul, with Jake Ham was right hot on his heels for a long time. but wasn't able to quite get it finished there at the end. Tyler Coase in 5th, Jimmy Howe 6th, James Keir, the British bulldozer, I'll start calling him, in 7th place, Bobby Ross in 8th, David Barnes in 9th, Jaden Darling goes home 10th, first car 2 laps down, Scott Rankin in 11th, Scott Benavides 12th, the first car 3 laps down, Brennan Horn 13th, Mike Sorum 14th, 4 laps down, Robert Schwankler, who was driving extremely well, looks like he probably just caught that inside corner on my wall of death, I'm going to call it, and did not finish the race. He finished 11 laps down.
And before we head into the interviews, big shout out to another one of our sponsors for this evening, Viper Esports. Viper Esports is a sports and entertainment organisation based out of Greenville, North Carolina, focused on providing professional athletes and content creators from around the world to compete at the highest possible level. The Vipers are a family of competitors, supporters, fans and grinders that share a mutual passion and drive for esports. To join the team or to find out more about who they are, you can head across to their website, viperesports.org. And finally, mentioned while we're on to them, Shears Salon, the final sponsor for this championship, and located out of Grand Forks, North Dakota. Shears Salon, trust your peers to come to Shears. You can find them on Facebook at Samantha at Shears Salon. Find out more about them, and I tell you what, let's have a bit of a chat first off to, wow, I think I know it's a bit of his nickname is Paul the Polish Plough, but I think really, truthfully, Paul Mikolajczyk, he needed to be a plough out there today. Everyone seems to have their elbows out.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened the whole race, to be honest with you.
But I don't think any of us did, Paul. We're over here commentating, and we don't really know. We were looking for your insight.
My car after the finish line, I stopped and it like broke. It won't go forward anymore. But I had a 16-second penalty, so I did not think I was going to finish 3rd. But I guess Jake also had one, so I was just chilling, just trying to beat him until the end of the race, and then ended up finishing 3rd anyways.
We saw you saving your Joker lap right to the very end. Was that just a tactic? Obviously, around Daytona, that is the quickest way to get around, where obviously it cuts on that inside line around the International Horseshoe. Was it just a case of just try and keep him behind as long as possible and just use that right on the very last lap?
It was to stay in front of Tyler Coates, because I saw he was like 11 seconds, 12 seconds behind coming to the final laps there. So if I knew if I could jump him by 16 seconds, I'll be fine, keep either 3rd or 4th, depending on if Jake had it or not. So that was my whole plan about using the Joker in the last lap.
Before we let you go, Paul, is anyone you want to give a shout out to at all?
Our cutie right here, Adam, being a great guy, and also the other admins, Rob, Jerry, Jimmy. I think I got them all. Yeah, it's about that. That's about it.
No problem. So that's Paul Mikolajczyk, who finished 3rd here, last place on the podium at Daytona in the last race of this section of the championship. And I'll tell you what, next up, let's have a little bit of a chat to our winner here, and making it 4 wins from 4 in this section of the championship for you, Adam. It's Cameron Peterson, the Canadian, absolute flying at the moment.
Damn, I'm getting really tired of interviewing you, man. Oh no, man. Walk me through it. Congratulations on your 7th win of the season. Man, you should have just taken Daytona. You would have been 8 for 8. I don't know what you were doing there, but walk us through this race. Tell us how it was out in front. How did the lap cars come into play? They didn't seem to be hurting you guys too bad up there.
Yeah, luckily we could have some luck here on the inside of Daytona rather than the oval. But yeah, that was an awesome race. Especially once we got into the lap traffic, it was pretty hectic. It's really unpredictable. The only chance the only way what's the guy's going to do ahead of you is if he's going off the track. He's about to hit the wall. That's the only time something's going to happen. Other than that, it's just a shot in the dark, really. So, yeah, it was really fun. I know Josh is really strong on starts, so to be able to stay near his passenger side is good, and just to break a little later and kind of use up as much corner as I can without being too arrogant. So,
yeah, how was that that start, that inside line seemed to help you out a lot, because it looked like Josh did, like you mentioned, get the jump, but you were just able to drive right around, or right down the inside and able to get that back. Is that inside line, was that really that powerful through there, or is it just basically your breaking points?
It definitely is. It's a mixture of some things. I think what the inside guy needs to stay clear of is that those turtles sitting right in smack middle of the corner there. So if you tap that, then you could flip the truck over into the guy beside you. So I think as long as you can give yourself enough room and kind of keep the guy to your left out far wide enough and give yourself enough room where you can, give yourself some room for error, then, you can get on the gas earlier than anyone else. So yeah, after getting over the big jump on the first lap, I was just kind of running my lines. Just stayed smooth, paid attention to the track wear, because that's probably the biggest factor in these races. So yeah, and then once the lap cars came around, it was just like I said before, just a guessing game.
Sure. Well, I'm not going to ask you anything else about these dirt roads, because clearly you're the best at those. So tell me how you're feeling going into the next part of our series here. We're running the Lotuses around some asphalt roads. What are your plans? You got much practice in those yet?
Not in those cars particularly. I do enjoy some open wheel cars though, like slower ones like the V's and the. So that's not even close to the same car, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's going to be another learning curve, just like the 87s were.
Awesome, man. Well, you got anybody to shout out before we let you go?
Absolutely, you guys on the mid team on XSLR Racing, and you guys do a phenomenal job. I'll always say that after in these interviews. You guys do a great job. All the competitors as well. They're all, they all do well. It's a good community.
Oh, there's something.
Yeah, there's something that yeah. They can take a joke and they can take the hits. It's a good community for sure. To the Apex Racing TV for putting on the broadcast. Always looking forward to watching this back again. The Jim Beaver Esports crew, General Tire, Fistful of Bourbon, Winners Get Whiskey, and all the friends and family watching at home. I'm pretty sure my mom definitely already commented on the video, I'm sure. So
she always does. So anyways, yes, Cam, thank you for your time, man. And we got a couple weeks break here, so better get into those Lotuses and start practicing up. I think you got some people coming for you now.
Yeah, that's okay.
There we go. So let's have a little bit of a chat to someone else who a bit of a maybe in my eyes probably as good as it probably could have got for him. Josh Clark finished second over in the wall in the final. Josh, how was it out there? I mean, to be fair, you were really clanging on, especially for the first half of the final, onto the back of Karen Peterson and not letting him get away.
Yeah, that was just kind of the goal, is to stay close. It's kind of, as you said, pretty expected. But again, all good with that. Can't complain about the result.
Definitely, and I mean, obviously, in the final we had a much larger grid. Obviously, both heat grid, participants combined. I mean, obviously, in the last stage of the race, where you had to come around and lap a few cars. How tricky is that? I mean, we were saying earlier, Adam, mainly about the transitions. Numerous transitions between dirt and asphalt, and the trucks don't really like it. They tend to unsettle a little bit, and then combined where you're having to lap people. I mean, how tricky was that?
That was definitely a tough part. And then all that stuff, plus you add in the fact the aspect of the track wear, and it makes a big difference. It's a totally different track from lap 1 to lap 10. So those are all things you just kind of got to manage throughout the race. And based on the amount of action I saw on the track, the lapping was about the same here and there, but overall it was pretty good.
Definitely. And next part of the championship, obviously we've got a couple of weeks break, but we're heading across onto the Lotus 79. Hockenheim is the first race of that section. How do you feel about that one? You know, what's your capabilities within the road cars, and especially the Lotus?
I'm definitely comfortable in the road cars. Both road and dirt road are probably my most two comfortable areas. But as far as the Lotus goes, that's something I've driven it a few times here and there, but I've never driven it seriously. So it's a pretty fun car. It'll definitely be a challenge here and there, I believe. But looking forward to it, looking to see how it goes. Feeling pretty good about it.
Definitely, it's a real contrast, you know, from a car that's you know, with not a lot of grip and moves around a lot, to a car that is, you know, lots of mechanical grip and flies around corners. It's definitely going to be interesting. And obviously, for that next section, obviously we've got Hockenheim, we've got Silverstone, Zandvoort, and Watkins. Is there any particular track that you're really looking forward to driving?
All of them, but Watkins. I like the more twisty, turny tracks, and all the others suit pretty well. Watkins, it's okay, but not my favorite. But I like the rest of them.
I would have thought with, you know, a bit of patriotism and, you know, rooting for your home country, you know, home track. I thought Watkins would have been your favourite, but there we go. And before we let you go, Josh, anyone you want to give a shout out to at all?
Yeah, thanks to KES Industries. Signed on this year to race with them. Lots of stuff coming, and excited to see what's all in store.
Definitely. That's Josh Clark, who finished second here today at Daytona.
Thanks.
Wow, Adam. What can we say? Another crazy race here at in this section of the championship from Daytona. I think it's summarised really what we've experienced over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm looking. This whole time you've been interviewing Tim, I've been trying to look for words to describe what we've seen. And it's, don't get me wrong, it's been amazing to watch. It really has. So me being speechless doesn't mean it was a bad thing, but just, you know, the racecraft, some of the passes, the bumping, the over-unders, the use of the Joker lap, how the track was wearing out, everything has just been amazing. Just the different tracks we've come to and how people are able to adapt to all of the different types of tracks that they were running is it's just the whole series has been absolutely amazing to watch, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Definitely, and second you on that one. It's been an absolutely brilliant and entertaining championship, especially this section. You know, lots of fun and great for the viewers at home. And yeah, if that's not been enough action for you, coming up tomorrow night on the channel, it's the Apex Racing League Master Cup there from Okayama. That's at 8 PM GMT, and then a little later on that evening, 11:45 GMT, it's the TireRack.com Road to Indy E-Series presented by Cooper Tires. They're heading to Road America for round 4. And then coming up on, well, what effectively will be a couple of hours later, it's the Rick Mattek Classic Sprint Series, round 4 from Barber Motorsport Park for them. And then on Tuesday evening, we have got from 7:45 GMT, Simutech Motorsports TCR Winter Series. They are off to Donington for rounds 10, 11, and 12. And then obviously at 8 PM on the same evening, so 2 potential viewing options for you. It's the Apex Racing League GT3 Pro Trophy. Heading to Monza for that latest round. That's round 6 for them. And wow, I know we've sort of talked about it a little bit, Adam. Obviously, Lotus 79, completely diverse, opposite end of the spectrum from the Pro 4 trucks. I mean, I think it's definitely going to throw up some interesting results.
Yeah, it is. These things actually like to turn on the asphalt as opposed to these trucks, and they are probably about 4 times as fast as the trucks as well, and you can't jump them. So there are, I can keep going if you want me to, but there are quite a few differences, but the racing is going to be just as good, I think. You know, it's just basically for the guys in the league, it's going to be how they can adapt after running something as slow and as heavy and as bulky as these trucks are, going straight over to one of the more nimble cars ever to be built. So it's going to be super interesting to see how they do, and I have a feeling we're going to have another 4 races of great racing.
Undoubtedly we'll do indeed. We have got a little bit of a break in the championship to allow for things like, well, inconveniences to sim racing, such as Valentine's Day, but also there's obviously President's Day and the Super Bowl. So it's a couple of weeks break here from the XSLR Championship before we return on the 27th of February at Hockenheim Ring in the Lotus 79. And well, I know you said you think about it during the interviews, Adam. Have you managed to come up with any words to describe what we've seen today in this end of the section of the championship?
Chaos. For lack of a better word, I think that's the best word that I can describe. Controlled chaos, beautiful chaos, I guess is about where I can leave it. It's been an amazing thing to watch. All these guys, how well they've adapted and overcome to some of the different tracks we've run. It's been just something that I'm really glad. I'm really glad that it was run.
Definitely, I'll definitely second that. 4 completely different circuits that have offered up absolutely epic racing. And wow, we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. As we say, we're heading to Hockenheim in Germany in the Lotus 79. It's going to be spectacular. I've been Tim Cox with Adam Thompson and Jonathan Drabowski on production. We'll see you soon. Take care.